Okay, so just a quick video to talk through how you could set this up using a side-by-side question. Like I say, it's a little bit tricky when it comes to validation if you're going to be assigning validation, but I'll just show you anyway. So if we go ahead and add a new question and use a side-by-side question type, what we can do is we can have our first column set to have our 7-point scale. So if we add oh, sorry, just saying that I already have some responses, my bad. So I want to have 7-point scale here. So I just want this to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then in my second column, I can remove a column answer just to have 1, and this can be my NA option right here. Then what I can do is I can change this to be a multiple answer style question so that people can select or unselect the NA option as they prefer. So I'm just going to increase this and decrease the NA scale a little bit. So that's it. Now these are very clearly separate. The problem with this current setup is that once people select one of these options, they won't be able to unselect it. So if they decide actually it is not applicable, these are very separate things here, you'll see. So people won't actually be able to unselect this. They'll have to select this and not applicable. The only way to work around that would be to change this one to also be multiple answer style questions so they can check and unselect the boxes as they wish. But this allows for multiple selection, which you can validate to make sure people can't select more than one, but it just might lead to more confusion. So I'm really not sure the best way you want to set that up to avoid the confusion. But this is the only way or the best way of actually segregating these out to make it very obvious that this is a 7-point scale and this is completely separate, this NA option right over here. But it's the only way of having two things side by side and separated out. Like I say, then when it comes to the validation, we can't actually treat two columns together and say they must select one across the entire statement 1, because there's two different columns. So basically the way you'll have to say it is if they have selected one of these and not selected not applicable, or if they've selected not applicable and none of these ones, to basically say they have to select either one or the other of them. So you can do that with your custom validation, but if you just trust your participants just to answer correctly, then you don't need to go ahead and do that. Other than that, the only way I'm afraid of doing this would just be to have a multiple answer style question or multiple choice style question. Have your 8 sections, change them, for example, to a column or indeed to be horizontal. And just to have your NA option beside all of your 7 choices. Like I say, there's no clear distinguish, or it's not clear that they're distinguished or anything like that, but it would be the best way to go about it. You could also make this bold to make it stand out, or turn it red or something like that to make it stand out a bit more. So I hope that answers your question, but if you do have any follow-up questions on this, please just let me know.